I'm just calling to say I...
What's up guys, Rage Quitting here, back with another video guide for you guys. We're going to do the updated guide for the Demon Hunter. We are now level 70. We got all of our PvP gear. I've been testing some builds and I'm going to share with you my build that I really like for PvP. You can also use this build for PvE. I'm pretty sure it translates very well, but let's just go ahead and get right into it, okay? This build does so much damage. You guys can just go ahead and copy and paste the link that I'm going to leave in the description for this build. But in a nutshell, let's just go over some things real quick. On the left side here, we're going all the way down the left side of the tree for Unleashed Power. Reduces the Fury cost of Chaos Nova by 50% and its cooldown by 20%. So you can use your AoE stun more often, and for the most part, you should be able to use it immediately whenever you need to use it, because without this, when you're playing Demon Hunter, your single target stun and your AoE stun still costs Fury. So if you're not managing your Fury very well, and sometimes you really need that stun like right now, but you don't have the Fury for it, this helps to alleviate that a little bit, which is really nice. So I really like Unleashed Power here. And then going down the tree, we're taking Collective Anguish, because now your I-Beam is gonna do some extra damage, because it's also gonna summon the Vengeance Demon Hunter, who also casts Fell Devastation at the same time. So you're getting more damage out of your I-Beam whenever you use it, and you're going to get healing back as well. So very nice for your self-sustain here, and a little bit of extra damage. And then moving on over here, we're going to take Demonic. We need Demonic because now every time you use your I-Beam, it puts you into your Metamorphosis form, which gives you your meta abilities with your upgraded Blade Dance and your upgraded Chaos Strike. Darkness, because you still need Darkness for PvP. And now we're also going to take Pitch Black. Reduces the cooldown of Darkness by 120 seconds. So now your Darkness is on a lower cooldown. It's now on a 3-minute cooldown, which lines up really nicely with a lot of other classes' damage cooldowns. So you're not going to get punished as much for using Darkness early in the match if you need to use it to trade out some defensive cooldowns for your enemy's offensive cooldowns. Now you can just go ahead and use Darkness because it's going to come back sooner. Okay, and then we're going to take the Hunt because the Hunt is OP, and then we're going to take the extra dot damage on the Hunt as well. And then on the right side of the tree here, we're going to take Charred Warblades so that we can go down into Sigil of Misery and then get that Misery in Defeat, the 20% damage increase for 5 seconds whenever Sigil of Misery ends. Okay, somebody had a question on my last video with Charred Warblades, if you still get the healing benefit from this, even though you're taking any means necessary on the right side of the tree. The answer is yes, you still get the healing from all the fire damage that you deal, okay? So even though with any means necessary on the right side here, it turns all of your damage abilities into chaos damage, but whatever was originally fire damage, you still get the healing from it, from Charred Warblades, okay? So that's the left side of the tree. We're gonna go ahead and go down the main points on the right side, on the Havoc side. Basically, Soul Rend means every time you use Throw Glaive, it's gonna put a dot on the target. We're gonna take Fodder to the Flame, because when your demon comes out on a proc and you kill it, you get a lot of healing back, you get nice damage bonus as well, and the explosion of the demon deals damage too. So a lot of good things coming from Fodder to the Flame, always taking this. Any means necessary, I just mentioned earlier, but all the damage you deal now is chaos damage, and it is multiplied with your mastery. So because we're taking this, we have to gear for mastery. So every single piece of gear from the PvP vendor that I could get that had mastery on it, that's what I chose. And any other slots that I couldn't get mastery, I got haste instead. Okay, so I'll show you my gear stats after this. But specking for mastery, especially because we are taking any means necessary. Okay, so you have to gear for mastery if you want to do tons and tons of damage with this build. Okay, we are taking everything that buffs our I-Beam. So we're taking the auto crits, we're taking the extended duration and the fury generating from it. We're also taking the haste buff that you get when you channel an I-Beam fully. We're also taking isolated prey, which increases the damage of I-Beam by 25%. We're taking serrated glaive, which increases the damage of I-Beam by another 20% whenever you use throw glaive. And then we're also taking down here in the PvP talents chaotic imprint. So throw glaive increases damage taken from School of Magic by 10% for 20 seconds, and all of your damage is chaos. So this is basically guaranteed to work, right? With chaotic imprint. The last two talents I really want to talk about, which I really like with this build, is Cycle of Hatred and Shattered Destiny. So Cycle of Hatred, whenever you use Blade Dance and Chaos Strike, you reduce the cooldown of your I-Beam by 1 second. I-Beam right now is on a 40-second cooldown, but as long as you have good uptime and you're using Blade Dance and you're using Chaos Strikes, you're going to lower the cooldown of your I-Beam. So your I-Beam is going to line up very nicely with your single target stun, your Fell Eruption, okay? And you always want to make sure that you stun the target before you I-Beam, because you don't want to get kicked or you don't want to get feared or stunned or knocked back or whatever whenever you're channeling your I-Beam, because your I-Beam is a really big part of your damage rotation, and you want to get full value out of your I-Beam. So with this talent down here, Cycle of Hatred, now your I-Beam is going to line up perfectly with your single target stun. So every single time your stun is available, your I-Beam is available too. And then the other PvP talent that we're taking is Sigil Mastery. So reduces the cooldown of your sigils by 25%. So now your Sigil of Misery is on a 1.5 minute cooldown, which lines up perfectly with the hunt. Before we use the hunt, we want to make sure that we use our Sigil of Misery so that when the effect ends, you get a 20% damage increase for the next 5 seconds. So you're going to get fat damage bonus for your hunt, and for 5 seconds, any other abilities that you're going to throw in there. Usually it's going to be another I-Beam as well. Okay, so lots of damage multipliers in this build. And then the very last talent down here, Shattered Destiny, increases the duration of your active demon form whenever you spend Fury. So with Demonic, every time you use I-Beam, you're going to get your demon form for 6 seconds. Your Metamorphosis gives you demon form for 24 seconds, and it also resets your I-Beam. So you're going to do I-Beam, Meta, and then I-Beam again, which gives you demon form for 36 seconds. But I've had my demon form up for more than a minute, because if you have good uptime and you're spending Fury, you're going to keep extending the duration of your demon form, and you can have it up for a very, very long time, and you'll just continue to pump damage. Okay, so this is the build right here. Like I said, check the description. I'm going to leave a link to it. You guys can just copy it and use it for yourself. All right, guys, so here's the gear. Here's the stats. With the full set of honor gear, I'm sitting at 328k HP. We have everything that you can get mastery on. Get mastery. If not, get haste. And this is the stats we're looking at: 11% grit, 13% haste, 42% mastery, 26% verse, and 10% leech. Alright guys, so something I want to explain to you real quick before we get into the rotation part of this video. Throw Glaive and Soul Rend, how it works. Okay, so Throw Glaive puts a dot on the target. Here, I'm going to just go ahead and get my Fury up here and hit the dummy. So Throw Glaive puts a dot on the target called Soul Rend. It's right here. It's ticking for 3.8 right now, and it ticks for 6 seconds. If I go ahead and throw another Glaive, the damage will go up. Now it's up at 7k. The main thing you want to do here with this Soul Rend dot is to just keep refreshing it. So before it falls off the target, try to make sure you can put up another one, okay? Because it ticks for 6 seconds. Your Throw Glaive has 2 charges on an 8.4 second cooldown, and you want to just make sure that you're constantly refreshing that Soul Rend dot on the target, okay? You don't want to just use Throw Glaive twice in a row, because then the dot is going to fall off before your Throw Glaive can recharge. So what you want to do is just put the dot on, and then 5 seconds later put another one, 5 seconds later put another one, okay? And just try to do that as best as you can. Of course, nothing's going to be perfect, but that's the goal that we're trying to do here, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys some rotations here. There's burst, there's your big burst, and then there's your little burst, and then you have just like your sustained damage, okay? And your big burst is obviously going to come from Sigil of Misery with the hunt, and then also using I-Beams after Throw Glaive at the same time, okay? And in order to get the really long extended Metamorphosis, what you want to do is I-Beam first, jump into your Metamorphosis, and then use I-Beam again, okay? And then you don't have to do it specifically like I-Beam, meta I-Beam. You just want to make sure that you can have skills in between those, but that's the order that you want to do it in, okay? So here we go. We're just going to go ahead and open up with the big burst first. So what we want to do here is, as we're running into our target, we're going to turn Immolation Aura on. Because of this talent here, we're going to generate some extra fury with it. And then as we're getting closer to our target, we're going to Fell Blade, because Fell Blade helps you to gap close and generates fury. Then we're going to go ahead and use Throw Glaive and then stun the target, okay? So you can either Throw Glaive, Sigil of Misery, and then stun the target, or you can Throw Glaive, stun, and then Sigil. Okay, after that, we're going to I-Beam and put ourselves into Metamorphosis form, and then use the hunt. I-Beam is putting us into Metamorphosis form because of this talent point here, Demonic. And then once we're in Metamorphosis form, we're going to use our upgraded meta abilities. So your upgraded Blade Dance, which is Death Sweep, and then your upgraded Chaos Strike, which is Annihilation. Okay, once you use your Annihilation, because of this talent point right here, Inner Demon, it's going to call down a little demon that does some extra damage passively for you. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and do that right now. Okay, so Immolation Aura, Fell Blade. We're gonna throw glaive once, put the sigil, and then stun the target into an eye beam, full channel into the hunt, death sweep, annihilation. Okay, and right there we were sitting at 41k DPS. We just did over 500,000 damage in that little rotation, and that's just the beginning part of it. Okay, so let's go ahead and show you the damage breakdown here real quick. So I-beam did over 100k damage. The hunt did almost 200k damage with the dot and the hunt that hit, and then your death sweep 43k. The fell devastation passively did 34k damage, and that's what you get from using collective anguish down here. So the I-beam by itself did 118k plus the fell devastation for 34k. All right, and then the death sweep inner demon here. This is the one from the talent tree right here. After you go into meta and you use chaos strike, it summons a little demon and it hits the target. Inner demon did 28k damage, and then yeah, immolation aura, and then the soul rend dot for 15k. All right, so this is the big burst. Your sustained damage comes from, you'll see soul rend get a lot higher when you're doing like a sustained damage rotation, but for the burst, when we're trying to set up big hunts with I-beam behind it, this is kind of what the damage breakdown looks like. Okay, so let's go ahead and just talk about how we would do a sustained damage rotation. Generally, you want to build fury with your Fellblade and your immolation aura, and you don't want to use it unless you need the fury, right? Because if you're already kind of high on fury and you use these abilities, then when you really need it, you're not going to have it. And then you're going to have some dead globals where you're not going to be able to press anything, right? So basically for your sustain rotation, you're just going to refresh throw glaives, sooner than 6 seconds as often as you can. You're going to death sweep or blade dance on cooldown. And then any extra fury that you have, you're going to send it with chaos strikes, okay? When you're low on fury, use Fellblade and immolation aura. Also, I-beam generates fury now too, because of the talent point right here, blind fury. So when you're just over 30 fury is kind of the best time to use I-beam, because you're gonna consume the 30 fury that it uses, but then you're gonna build fury after that, right? So if you don't want to like overcap on fury, you kind of want to spend some first before you do your I-beam. So generate with I-beam, Fellblade, and immolation aura, and then spend with throw glaive as your highest priority, blade dance on cooldown, and then extra fury will be spent on chaos strike. So I'll go ahead and do that for you right now. So we're gonna Fellblade, immolation aura, throw glaive, blade dance, chaos strike, and then go ahead and I-beam here, throw up another glaive, and now I have some extra fury to spend, so I'm gonna chaos strike and blade dance. I'm low on fury, so I'm gonna use Fellblade, blade dance again, and then keep throwing that throw glaive out there whenever you can, just to refresh that dot. Okay, so this is the sustained damage rotation right now, and we're sitting around 26k DPS. And this is without using any damage modifiers really, except for the throw glaive with the I-beam. Okay, and then death sweep and chaos strike. Okay, so 30k DPS right there, and that's just your standard rotation. Okay, hope that helps. Now, my favorite rotation to do in PvP, really big damage for AoE packs here, is I like to, especially when people start dogpiling on me, I'll AoE stun all of them, and then put up the Sigil of Misery, and then go ahead and make sure you already use some throw glaives to get some glaives bouncing on multiple targets, and then fat I-beam on everything with a fat, the hunt, and the hunt dot will then spread and hit everything next to it as well, all right? All right, guys, that's going to do it for this guide. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. If you want to see more PvP guides, next I'm going to do the warrior, the hunter, and a few other classes that I play. So if you guys want to see that, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys on another one. Peace.